Hey everyone, this is a live memory training session, and I'm working on name and face recall using Anki and Memory League. And this is a real study session, so feel free to just study along and or hang out quietly or ask questions in the chat if you want. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. And this may be a little bit shorter than the last couple have been, depending on how quickly I'm able to work through these, because I am feeling pretty tired tonight. So I think that I'm going to follow up or start tonight by going through some Memory League practice. So right now, the highest score that I've gotten is 11 in 1 minute, and we're going to see if we can beat that today. I'm not sure that we will. I'm just happy to be hovering around there consistently for now, but it would be great if I could do more. This says I think maybe I was wrong yesterday. I think I said I have to memorize 18 names to get to the next level. This says I have to recall 12 names, which means maybe we can get to level 8 sooner than I thought. That's kind of exciting. Today hasn't been too bad, you guys. A lot of positive things. For some reason, I'm feeling completely drained, but my deadlift went up. A lot of good things that I shouldn't focus on right now because I gotta get ready because the timer's counting down. Mm. So, one of these names going big here. Okay, so 10 to start with. Um, that's actually first of all, pretty good. 10 names in 1 minute. So about 6 seconds per name. It's not magical, but it's fairly quick. Um, and the ones that I didn't get on here were basically ones that I had skipped over because they weren't something that I had a lot of practice with. So I was trying to get to the ones that I was more familiar with. A good example of this is Gustavo. I don't think that I've practiced Gustavo specifically, or if I have, it's not fresh on my mind. So 10, not a bad start. I'm gonna try and go, even though I'm gonna go a little bit faster and see if I can get to 11 by intentionally moving on faster than I feel comfortable with, just hoping that the image will stick with the names. So here we go. I'm gonna start the timer. When you start on Memory League, you can adjust the settings, but usually once you press start, you get a 20-second timer to count down so that you kind of have time to get in the zone and stop talking. Hmm. Something's wrong with this picture. Doesn't look like I got through very many of them. Okay. No. Gary. Okay. Okay. Got 8. So I'm going to try it one more time. I did not go faster that time. I let myself kind of slow down and try to think. I got caught up on the first one. Kind of ruined the pace for the rest. Okay. Oh, I'm pretty sure I spelled that person's name wrong. Okay. It was Leslie, but Leslie can be spelled a couple different ways. And I think I just instinctively thought it was spelled the way that I would spell it. Okay. Anyways, this person is Donna. This is Brian. Oof. This lady is Natalie. Bobby. Ryan. Bertha. Wesley. Larry. I didn't have this guy. Well, at least I know which ones for sure I was able to see before the time ran out. Whew, yes. 11. Okay. It's one thing whenever you are able to do something once, like if you have a goal you're shooting for, you're like, I want to be able to do this, and then you do it one time, that's pretty okay. But to do it consistently, so you know that you are at that level, it's pretty sick. And I'm looking at the names that I didn't get to as I was working through, and I do see a lot of them that I have images for. Steven, for example, is using a stick to hit a van. Philip with one L is going to be a horse flipping. I did that because there's a Philip with an F, so that PH for horse. And then Philip with 2 L's is a Phillips screwdriver, because that has 2 L's. And if I got those backwards, I'm pretty sure I didn't. But then there's Carol, which I made a video about. So anyways, pretty close. But I'm not going to worry too much about pushing it right now. I'm going to hop over to the Anki deck, sync up my deck here, and I didn't get a chance to practice earlier today, so I'm going to be practicing the full 200 review, which is what it popped up with. So I'm not going to worry about adding any new cards today. I'm just going to get these 200 reviewed. One of the ones that I'm struggling with right now is Francis, because you can spell it with ES or IS. I do have two different images, but making sure that I've got them locked in. Gills on a bird. Gilbert. I have to say, when I used my imagination to put gills on a bird, they just kind of looked like little slits. Um, and then whenever I asked AI to help me generate the image of what I was imagining, it showed that those very large gills on that bird, which do stand out. But I thought that's not what gills look like. And then I went and I looked at gills whenever they're kind of like pulled up, and you're not just they're not just slits, but you like pull them out so you can see what's in there. And they do pretty much look like that. And I had a comment from somebody that said, "Hey, that bird is creepy," or I'm paraphrasing. And I was like, "Yeah, it is." But to the image's credit, it is memorable. So, gills on a bird, Gilbert. Hmm. I think one of my favorite images is for Teresa, because the image that I have for that is a tree that's cut with a saw. And Teresa, it just kind of lines up really well with a tree and a saw in terms of how it sounds. It's very close. And I like it whenever the images just really line up with the names. It doesn't have to be too creative to remember what that image stands for. And those names where you have a lot of different spellings, you do kind of have to be a little more creative because they sound the same, but they're spelled differently. So you've got to make sure that you have a way to tell how you're going to, spell it again. Again, in the real world, when you're meeting somebody at a networking event, or you're doing sales or something, and you're just like talking to somebody, um, you don't really have to spell their name. And oftentimes at like networking events, at least in my experience, there are name tags and things like that. So, um, you know, the hard part in the real world is oftentimes just remembering how to say that name back to that person, to be like, "Hey, Teresa, what do you think about this?" But still, for the competition purposes, they do want you to be able to spell things correctly, and it adds a little bit of an added layer of complexity. So I think I'm rambling now, aren't I? But I think that if I were to, given the knowledge I have now, maybe this will change with just, thousands of names and images associated in my head. But I think if I was going to like teach people to memorize names, I would probably just say, if it sounds like this, like Teresa with Teresa versus Theresa, or like all of those other names that can be pronounced the same but spelled differently. Brittany is a good example, all the different kinds of spelling. Just focus on the sounds and how it sounds, and then only worry about spelling if you really need it, and that will take off some of the cognitive load. But one of the things that I want to do after um, as part of this journey of not just um, what am I trying to say? One of the things I want to do beyond just competing is share the things that I have been able to learn, because the fact that I will take a couple of hours of practice, an hour to 2 hours a day of practice for a month. And so we're talking, 30 to 60 hours of practice will get me to a certain level. But that is also an amount of time that a lot of people don't want to commit to something because they're busy. And so if I can learn some things that will help to save other people time, but improve their life, um, that's definitely something that I'd like to share. So maybe my brain is just trying to distract me from practicing, though. So, Teresa, we're good with that one. Someone patting a shoulder aggressively would be Patricia. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think every 50 or so, I'll take a break. Not take a break, hop over to Memory League and try a round. Give me a little bit of a break, and maybe I won't ramble so much. Okay, I want to do this one. Okay. Let's try another round on Memory League. I didn't realize that it was 12. If I did, I forgot, which isn't good because I'm talking about memory training. But 12 names to get to level 8. I wonder if it's like just a couple more names each time to get to the next round level, because that would mean I'm pretty close to the top one. Hmm. Not so good on this one. Not terrible, but not as good. Also, I spelled a couple of names wrong that I shouldn't have. Okay, back to Anki. Oops. Hmm. One thing I probably need to do is see if my audio is actually coming through. I should probably double check some of the recordings and make sure that things are working as they're supposed to. And I feel like, what's this edit button here? Language. Thought maybe it would. There's got to be a setting in here where I can change if I need to. La 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 la. Hmm. Oh well. That's a problem for later. Okay. All right. I've made it another 50 or so. So I'm coming back for the next round. I am slightly offended at my last score. I want to be able to be good even when I'm tired. And yet again, I have another guy that I'm having trouble coming up with the name or remembering the image because his name wasn't one that I've practiced very much. All right. Keep going. Ooh. His left eye is bothering me. Okay. All right. Man, it does seem like it's going faster. We've been here for about 50 minutes, so I guess it's not so much faster. But I kind of like breaking it up every 50 or so. I've kind of gone past 50 each time, but I kind of like that because I feel like I get a little bit of a break from just constant review. And I get to challenge myself a couple more times. So I'll probably do this round, finish my flashcards because I've got about 50 left, and then do one more round, and then we'll be done. So we may be done at the end of the hour.
Okay. Mhm.
That's why I missed it. Okay. I missed one that I didn't have a pre-made image for, and I was trying to be quick, so that's okay. Better than last time. So let's wrap up these cards. Where are my cards? Okay. Try and finish these cards. Okay. Brittany. Brittany. Okay. Finished the deck. The 200. So, I'm going to wrap up with one more round on Memory League. So far, my scores have not beat the first couple that I've done today. I think that's a function of being tired, but we're gonna try to beat it. Here we go. So if I come back through, didn't get to that one, didn't get to that one, this. I did pass. I had this lady here that I skipped over because I was like, oh, I can't think of an image for her quick enough to, so I'm going to skip her and try to maximize my score. And I'm going to see if I can, without using mnemonics, memorize her name or remember her name. Because it wasn't too crazy, but it was just like I couldn't think. I didn't have like a pre-made image, so I was going to see if I could do score better somewhere else. Oh. I don't think I'm going to be able to. What's her name? Yeah. We're getting close there. A lot of the names that I see on Memory League that I'm a little bit slow on. I'm seeing that some of the names I didn't get to in the list are names that I've practiced, and I'm seeing that a handful of names each time are some that I don't have pre-made images for. So once I have enough names in my head, then I think that's going to close that loop and we'll be going a lot faster. So just a matter of time. Just got to get enough review in. So we're going to go ahead and close the stream. Thank you guys for coming today to study with me. This helps me to make sure that I prioritize practice instead of doing a bunch of the other things that I could be working on right now. I want to make sure that I stick with this and see if I'm able to improve on a competitive level enough to make it past the preliminaries this year. So thank you.